What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about the ultimate guide for beating Adamgrad Episode 3, which is the third raid here in Modern Warfare 2. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and also as a reminder, if you need friends to beat the new raid with, or even some of the previous episodes, then drop your username down below in the comments of this video and try to find some folks to party up with. You can also find some people to play with in my Discord server known as the Bomb Shelter, that is also linked down below in this video's description, or you can even join my group inside of COD 2.0, which you can find if you search for the Bomb Shelter inside of Modern Warfare 2 or even Warzone. Now, because there's a really exclusive and animated camo for beating this episode of raids, I want to put an emphasis on the veteran version of this episode, which you gain access to after beating the episode at least once over on regular. At time of recording this, there aren't too many differences between regular and veteran for episode 3, but I will be pointing out the differences that do exist as we move along here in the guide itself. Also, don't forget to check timestamps down below in the video's description, and don't forget you're also only allowed 3 revives per checkpoint with your team when you play any raid episode on the veteran difficulty. I also already posted a separate video talking about all the different rewards you can unlock by beating this third episode. That video is also linked down below. Now, what you're gonna do when you start off with this episode is walk down this hallway, as you can see, and wait for the elevator platform to raise up just close enough so that you can jump onto it. Have one person click the button to start the elevator, which will begin to lower it. Now, while you're on the elevator, there will be opportunities to jump on other platforms and other areas of this level, and over those other areas there'll be intel, some other side Easter eggs, and other things that I'll of course be covering in separate videos, but the goal is to stay on this elevator as it moves downward and take out all the AI that you will see on each individual platform. There will then be a point where the elevator's power gets cut off. You then want to go into this specific area and clear the AI out, and then make your way up the stairs here until you find a power switch, and that'll then restore the power to the elevator. Now, you'll then hop back onto the elevator until it goes down a couple more levels, and then you'll come across 2 areas that are of some importance. One of them will have a buzzsaw, and the other one will have a door that you can cut with that buzzsaw. The buzzsaw will replace one of your weapons though, which is a bit unfortunate, but don't worry. If you use it, then drop it, but then need the buzzsaw again later in the episode, there will be other opportunities to actually get more buzzsaws. So don't feel bad if you guys drop the buzzsaw and then realize later that you needed it again. You won't be stuck to where you have to restart the whole episode. There'll be other chances to get your hands on some other ones if you so need them. Now, every time a player saws through a door in this third raid, his or her teammates must defend them, since AI will start spawning in to prevent that player from cutting the specific door. Now, once this door is open, make your way into these tunnels until you come across the power room, which you have to cut your way into using the buzzsaw yet again. You want to protect your teammate while they're cutting it. There'll be AI spawning from different directions, of course, and you can then turn the power back on once you gain access to this room. Right when you do this though, the elevator that you were previously at will start moving downward again, so you want to get back to it as fast as you possibly can, because if you miss it, you have to attempt to jump down using those platforms on the wall to try to get back to the elevator, or you can try to just stick the landing and revive each other as needed with pistols, or have one person make it and then the other 2 people can just jump to their death on the elevator, and then those dog tags will spawn right next to them. Whatever works for you, but be careful if you're on veteran, because you're only allowed 3 revives per checkpoint, of course. Now, once you make it to the bottom, you'll enter this specific tunnel, and watch out for the tripwires, which will spawn in on both regular and veteran difficulties. You can either walk around them or shoot them from a distance, whatever you prefer. You now want to have one person hold a button to open this door, and someone needs to then grab this big tool chest inside and pull it against this wall so that you can climb on it and mantle over this certain area. I absolutely love the Last of Us-like mechanics that are now here in Modern Warfare 2. Now, in this room, you'll see another opportunity to refill some plates, ammo, switch your loadouts, or even your Spec Ops kit, whatever it is you guys need, and when you're ready, you can then jump into this hole in the floor and have your friends regroup right at this door. Now, once you enter this room, this is where things are going to get a little crazy. So it's a little bit more of a difficult challenge on veterans, since you'll have even more AI spawning in and a bunch of grenade launching gigachads that will down you and even thirst you, which gets frustrating. So take things slow with your team, stick together, and try to pick off the people on the balconies the best that you can, whether it means you guys have ARs with thermal scopes or snipers, while also making sure that you play it up and watch for sneaky enemies coming from the other side of this room. You want to be extra careful on veteran, of course, because it's super easy to get downed in this room and even wiped, and you're only allowed 3 revives, like I said, so take all the precaution that you guys need, and whether you kill the AI or not, you want to make your way over to the other side of this room where they actually came from. You'll be able to turn on the power, which will end up electrifying the entire room, meaning that you don't want to step in the water, and this will effectively kill any remaining AI that's still standing in the water. But now comes the major puzzle of this third episode of raids. This involves a 15-digit code that you need to quickly input on a series of computers. Yes, you heard that right, that's 15 digits. It's crazy. On regular, the 15-digit code will be different in every match, but will remain the same in one particular game no matter how many times you fail the input input fast enough. On regular, the 15-digit code will be different in every match that you play, but will remain the same in one particular game, no matter how many times you fail to input it fast enough. While on veteran though, the 15-digit code will change every time you fail to input it correctly, making this incredibly challenging for people playing with randoms. The goal is to get this right on your first attempt, no matter what. Now around the room, there will be computers numbered in order from 0 to 9, and you need to input that 15-digit sequence using those computers. The goal is for your team of 3 to strategically input those numbers in the fastest way possible, which is easiest to do when you break that 15-digit code into maybe groups of 3 numbers at a time. In one of my games, the code was 418-970-652-381-739. It won't always be as simple as having one player covering computers 0 through 3, another player covering 4 through 6, etc. Sometimes you need to have your teammates jump around the room to hit certain numbers if you or the other teammate don't have enough time to make it to that one. Typically, it is simple if you break your 15-digit code into groups of 3 and have one of you hit a certain group of numbers in each group or each category of 3 numbers. You're also allowed to reset your sequence if you don't like the one that you got. So even if you are on regular and you're like, hey, this number sequence kind of sucks, you can just reset it and get a new one. But on veteran, if you input anything incorrectly, it'll give you a new sequence anyway. Now, the best thing to do is to drag out each number as much as you can. I know I said you want to get this done as fast as you can, but there's a way to do it. So you want to make sure you wait a good 7 seconds before clicking that specific computer that's next in the sequence to give your other teammates enough time to get to their next number. You don't gain anything from rushing to click each individual number. You want to drag each input just long enough for your teammate to reach the next number that they need to hit on their list. So this all comes down to seeing what your sequence is and coordinating with your team which player is going to hit which number until you've hit them all and you can proceed with the next step. Once the code is inputted correctly, you can hit the red button to go through this door. You can replenish your armor, ammo, etc., whatever it is you guys need, and you can prepare to be ambushed in this cafeteria by some not so nice lunch ladies, riot shielders, armored AI, and even a juggernaut. This part didn't seem to be harder on veteran in comparison to regular. There really aren't too many differences like I said earlier in the video, but once you go through these tunnels and find this specific room, you'll see another tool chest you can maneuver against this wall right here so that you can climb to the next area. Avoid that fire coming from that pipe though, because it can insta-wipe you, which again gets frustrating, so just wait for it to stop before moving past it. Fans of Arkham City will know exactly how to handle this step, but you then want to carefully parkour in this room right here, avoiding those tripwires in between those shelves. What you want to do is sometimes just not sprint, just very carefully move your analog or W on your keyboard and just move upward a little bit, then jump. Don't run, because sometimes it'll just overshoot you to where you need it to be and you'll fall to your death or hit those tripwires and it's over. You then want to regroup right here at this door and keep moving through this vent until you hit some water. You want to start swimming until you hit this submarine right here. Now there will be a ton of AI in this room regardless of difficulty, and you just want to clear them in the best way you can. Take your time. There's another room that you can open featuring a tool chest, and the tool chest just really comes in clutch here in this third episode of Raids here. You want to pull that out and put it against this wall so that you can mantle on top of it and get to this specific room. Now this next challenge is relatively simple. You need one person in the middle checking the valve pressures, while the other 2 people need to move their valves until the light corresponding to their valve turns green. It's up to the middle player to pay attention to what amounts of pressure each valve needs to have. I know the pressures will be different across regular and veteran, so pay attention to that. So if the pressure of the left valve needs to hit 25 or 30, but the second player needs to hit something like 40 or 50, you want the person on the right to start moving their valve first and time that so that the person on the left hits their correct number while the person on the right does at the same time. The player in the middle is then responsible for hitting that red button when both valve lights end up turning green. Now once that's done, the water will start filling up in the room a little bit, and you want to move that tool chest over to this valve now, since there's a second challenge that's very similar to the one we just did. During this stage though, there will be 2 events that could randomly occur. One is gas that floods the room for about 30-ish seconds, forcing you to stay underwater for a couple of seconds until the gas goes away, and the other event could be water becoming electrified, meaning you have to jump out of the water for a bit and just wait it out. Also watch out for some random AI that could also spawn during this next challenge. This next challenge requires one player to check valve pressures, but over in this area of the map, while one player stands on that tool chest to mess with that one valve, and then the other player can go underwater and mess with the valve that's down there. Same concept as the last challenge we just did, looking for what the correct pressure needs to be for each valve. I know the valve underwater is a bit of a troll though, since that person typically needs to turn it almost until the very last second before they drown, so that person wants to start turning their valve before the other person person does who's standing over on that tool chest. I know the pressure numbers, again, are a bit different from regular to veteran. The third player by the station over there needs to hit their button when both valve lights turn green. Again, it just takes simple communication to know what valve pressure you need to set each of them to. Now, once that's done, the water will raise a little bit more, and you can enter the blown up room to activate the crane control system. Now, right next to that valve pressure station we just used are the controls for the crane itself. You want to move the crane all the way to the left so that you can reach that one room on the left side of this area. Inside that room are some explosives that you'll need. You want to grab those and then move the crane now a bit to the right so that you can plant the explosives on that catwalk. Once that's done, the explosion will create a pathway for you to mantle, and you can now enter the final area of this raid. You want to kill all AI that's in sight and have someone pick up another buzzsaw over here so they can cut through a couple of doors again. You want to pick up some ammo and armor as needed, and watch out for some of the random AI that'll be spawning in throughout the area. Tons of AI will spawn in both directions as someone is cutting through this door, so once that's cut, you want to make your way here downstairs, rinse and repeat, same process. Watch your teammates back while they cut the door, or have your teammates watch your back if you're cutting the door, and the AI will be spawning on both sides of the room behind the door that you're cutting, and can even spawn behind you, so be very careful. There'll be armored AI, tier 3 enemies, and it gets pretty crazy in here. They can take out your armor in just a couple of bullets, and it gets rough. Now, once that door is cut, there could be a jug or two along with tons of riot shield AI. Get rid of all those folks, and you can regroup here at this door to complete this third raid episode. This episode was fairly different from the first two, and I really enjoyed it, but there was certainly more to explain in this one in comparison to the first two videos, and I think in terms of the reward being an animated camo for beating it on veteran, it's certainly worth the extra grind. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on this ultimate guide for Adam Grad episode 3? How are you feeling about the animated camo reward you get for beating it on veteran and everything else we discussed? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.